Hello and welcome to the Squared Circle Psychobabble. My name is Michael Valenti. This is Ralph Valenti for unbiased conversations in AEW, WWE, NXT, and New Japan Pro Wrestling. Subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. So, Ralph, we're bringing it back. This is, I believe, our 5th round of the year. It is the All Elite Wrestling Draft. We've done drafts with WWE guys. We've done drafts with Impact Wrestling guys. We've done a hodgepodge of different people.
Yep.
But this one, we're going to talk about strictly Ring of Honor, and we have one guy from MLW that we're going to talk about here, as it's been reported that a lot of these guys' contracts will be expiring very soon,
right,
if not the end of the month, maybe after December and heading into 2020. So we have on our draft for tonight 7 wrestlers that will be free agents. So we'll see whether or not they're going to be in AEW or moving elsewhere. So we'll start with the obvious one. And this is actually the first time he's going to be part of the draft for multiple rounds. And that is Marty Scurll. So we all know that at the end of this month, he will be a free agent. So everyone's saying, will he go to NXT? Will he go to AEW? Maybe he goes to New Japan Pro Wrestling. So Ralph will start. Marty Scurll, who you got?
I'm saying AEW. I mean, all the pieces are in place when you think back to the success that even this group, the Elite, had before the formation of AEW. He was a big part of that. All of his friends are there, and the big. But
his friends are dead.
Yeah, the big spin-off in that is that all his friends are dead. But he was really a big part of this group. Putting on the show All In, creating AEW. He was a big part of that. I can't see him missing out on anything. That any success AEW is going to have moving forward from today. So while I think there is still a small % chance that he does go to NXT, and I know that once he becomes a free agent, WWE is probably going to make him a big contract offer.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing that, there's certainly the possibility, but I think AEW is still the most likely of the landing spots for Marty Scurll.
Now, obviously, Marty Scurll is the biggest name in Ring of Honor right now. It's no question about that. And if he ends up not re-signing with Ring of Honor, as many would speculate and basically confirm, Ring of Honor is in a whole lot of trouble here.
I think they've been in a whole lot of trouble.
Yes,
when you consider the guys that have left there, the Young Bucks, I mean, probably their biggest draw,
Cody.
The fact that, granted, yes, the thing that they were probably most well known for over the past about year and a half was the show at MSG that they co-partnered with New Japan Pro Wrestling to put that show on. It was really the Elite that I think sold that out.
Right.
And ever since that point, and knowing that those guys have left and gone on to AEW, I mean, even Impact to a certain point, people are talking about some of the moves that Impact has made over the last year.
Yep.
MLW, they've done some good things.
NWA.
So while all these other companies, small or large, have been making steps in the right direction and being focused on for the right things, Ring of Honor, I mean, it's kind of like they're just kind of treading water at this point.
Yeah, they're not looking good. And if Marty Scurll leaves, I honestly don't know who ends up being the top guy in Ring of Honor. They still have Matt Taven. They still have Jay Lethal. It's basically all but done that they're going to re-sign PCO, and Roosh is still there for at least a while, but they're in bad shape. And if Marty leaves, that's just another huge hit. And I'm going to agree with you right now. I think originally I said that he was going to go to NXT. But obviously the dynamics have changed with how NXT is run. They're now on USA Network.
Yeah.
So that could go in his favor to go to NXT. However, I think the way WWE might see him is that he's a cruiserweight, which obviously he is. He is a junior heavyweight cruiserweight. So his ceiling will be very limited.
Yep.
But the way his character is, and obviously the Young Bucks know it, Cody knows it, Tony Khan, I'm sure, knows it. He's definitely going to be a big player if he goes to AEW. So I'm saying AEW.
Yep.
Now let's move on to a guy that I think will be very sought after as a free agent, and that is Jeff Cobb. He's, big size, very athletic. Anybody that signs him will end up getting a huge get for him. Ring of Honor would love to get him back, but it might not be the case. So do you see Jeff Cobb staying with Ring of Honor, or does he move elsewhere?
Well, I know that he's been I think that an article came out not too long ago saying that he wants to work a good majority of his bookings in New Japan Pro Wrestling. because he was frustrated with where he currently was or some situations with Ring of Honor. So I think he's definitely leaving. I'm sure he's going to end up working in New Japan Pro Wrestling, but I think at some point he does make his way to NXT because I know they had some interest in signing him as well. And if they're going to miss out on a guy like, let's suppose AEW lands Marty Scurll, Jeff Cobb is a big name. He's been in other promotions. He's done some good things. I can't see WWE and NXT whiffing on both guys. So I think that New Japan Pro Wrestling is probably where he'll work in the interim, and then he makes his way to NXT at some point.
Well, here's the thing. He's I believe 37 right now. So he's in his upper 30s. I'm not exactly sure the exact age, but I know he's in his upper 30s. So this could be one of his final contracts in wrestling. So, I mean, obviously the wrestling age, because of how people have adapted to wrestling, their careers have gone much longer because, you see guys like Jericho who's 49. So in theory, Cobb still has another 12 years. So he could still have a 5-year contract with somebody and then sign somewhere else 5 years later. But how good would he be 5 years from now? I don't know if he would be that decent of a wrestler in 5 years just because the body still breaks down as you get older. I do think because of his involvement with the G1 this past year, and there were a lot of big names in that tournament, and he got kind of fallen by the wayside. If he goes to New Japan Pro Wrestling, maybe they push him a little bit better this year in the G1. So I'm going to agree with you on that. He doesn't go to AEW. He moves on to New Japan Pro Wrestling. The next person we're going to bring up is someone that was in the main event at All In a tag team match with Rey Fenix and Rey Mysterio against Kota Ibushi and the Young Bucks. That is Bandido. Still young guy, a lot of years ahead of him.
Yep.
Ring of Honor, I think this is going to be the guy that they need to save. If obviously Marty's going, if Jeff Cobb is going, Bandido's got to be the one they got to keep. So I say he stays with Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I say he stays for at least right now. Because they're going to have some talent. They're going to have to pay some people. And I know one of the complaints against Ring of Honor from people that have left and from people that have worked within the organization is that, they're just not willing to pay and to retain certain talent. But like you said, he's still a young guy. I'm sure that he will get some attraction from, some of the bigger companies, but I think at least for now, he'll stay with Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I think so too. So let's move on to someone that is in Villain Enterprises with Marty Scurll. We know PCO is most likely re-signing. Flip Gordon still has another year, so the only guy left is Brody King.
Yep.
He, did a lot of dates with Marty Scurll in New Japan over the summer here, so it's going to be interesting to see where he ends up. I think he goes wherever Marty goes.
Yeah.
And if we're both saying AEW for Marty, I think Brody King follows him, especially because AEW needs those big guys. Like right now they have Luchasaurus, they have Wardlow, but that's about it.
Yep.
Brody King can jump right in and be one of the top big men heels in AEW if he goes there. And of course, Marty's going to need friends if they're going to have him be a villain and have Villain Enterprises. So this helps him out. And eventually when Flip Gordon, his contract runs out, I think he leaves Ring of Honor, goes to AEW, and they just continue the Villain Enterprise storyline there.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I mean, it just makes too much sense. Brody King is an interesting character. He's got a unique look. He works really good for a big guy. I'm excited to see him get out of Ring of Honor and go to one of the larger companies, whether that's, NXT and then work his way up to the main card for WWE. But I think it just makes too much sense for him to stay with Marty Scurll.
Yeah.
Because Villain Enterprises, at least as far as I'm concerned, has been the one positive thing that that Ring of Honor has done, at least as far as factions are concerned. So I think he goes to AEW with Marty.
If he doesn't go with Marty, where do you see him ending up?
Probably NXT, but then again, there's other companies too. I mean, New Japan Pro Wrestling is trying they're trying to open up their division here within the United States. You got MLW, who's been doing some good things. I don't really see him necessarily fitting in with the direction that NWA is going. I don't know if he fits that mold.
I don't think so.
It's more of like an old school style. But then again, he could definitely be like that old school heel type individual. So it's tough. But I think for now, I'm going to say AEW.
Yeah, so I agree there. Let's move on to someone that used to be in WWE, made his way into the independents, back to Ring of Honor. And his contract will be running out soon, and that is PJ Black. You may know him as Justin Gabriel.
Right.
Does he come back to WWE, goes to NXT maybe, or does he stick around to Ring of Honor, or does he go to AEW?
I think he goes to NXT. And the reason I say that is because certainly with Leo Rush and what they're trying to do with that 205 division, the cruiserweights, whatever you want to call them, he would definitely be able to fit into that division. He's already been to WWE, so it's not like he's necessarily an unknown. Yeah, I think they're going to NXT would give him a good opportunity to showcase his talent.
Yeah,
so.
and those that remember him in WWE knows what he can do. With Evolve getting Matt Sydal as well, so it's like that era of those cruiserweights that didn't really get a chance to shine in WWE just because Vince hates cruiserweights apparently and never really booked them strong. Here, PJ Black, Justin Gabriel, whatever you want to call him, he's in the tail end of his career, so I think he wants to maybe have one last time in the spotlight, and he's not going to do that in Ring of Honor. However, if he stays in Ring of Honor, he will easily be a top guy there. So the question is, does he want to be the top guy, or does he want to be a guy that, is in the mix and gets showcased in a wide level on national television like NXT will? So to me, it's going to be 50-50 between him staying in Ring of Honor or moving on to NXT. But if I had to pick one of the two, I would say he goes to NXT. Now, our only woman in this draft tonight is Kelly Klein, the former 3-time Ring of Honor Women's Champion, has done some things in Stardom, and we know the controversy that she had a while back where she was saying that she wasn't getting paid properly, asked for a raise, didn't get it, and this whole thing with Joey Mercury, she was involved with that whole ordeal. So I think it's all but certain if her contract is out, she will not be re-signing with Ring of Honor. So where does she go from here?
I mean, it's tough because I've only seen some of her work. I'm not that familiar with her.
AEW does need women.
Yeah, they're trying to rebuild they're trying to make a strong women's division. So I guess I could say there, but you know a little more about her. So where do you think she'd like?
So Kelly Klein has still done a lot of work in Stardom and still gets pushed very strongly in Stardom. I don't know how much more money she makes there than she does in Ring of Honor. So I think she actually ends up in Stardom. Now, the question is, there's an apparent Stardom partnership with AEW, but now Bushy Road, who owns New Japan Pro Wrestling, just bought Stardom. So will there be a conflict of interest to use Kelly Klein? I mean, yes, B. Priestley has been used, and some other Stardom wrestlers have been used in AEW, but once this whole New Japan US thing starts, I think some of those Stardom wrestlers will be on the card for those New Japan shows.
Right.
Eventually, I think there's talks about a women's championship for the IWGP Women's Championship. So I think Kelly Klein will be a focal point in that regard. I wouldn't be surprised she does end up in AEW, but I actually think her home promotion will end up being Stardom.
Yep.
So I think Stardom with maybe some dates in All Elite Wrestling, but I wouldn't be surprised. Like, it's that whole Stardom thing is very confusing right now. Until we know exactly what the deal is with AEW, Stardom, and New Japan, it's hard to say. But I will say she sticks with Stardom, leaves Ring of Honor altogether.
Right.
Our last guy of the night is actually not from Ring of Honor. He's actually from MLW. The former MLW champion has announced that he will not be taking dates after January. It has been announced that he is leaving MLW, and that is Filthy Tom Lawlor. Where does he go?
This is a tough one because I actually thought he would have stayed with MLW because that is a promotion that is doing things that, they're making steps in the right direction. They just re-signed Jacob Fatu, who is their heavyweight champion right now. They have like a niche market who, good following. So it's a little surprising he's leaving, but he's got to be looking for a bigger contract.
Yep.
I'm going to say that he probably winds up in NXT.
Yeah, I agree because I think WWE, really likes the former MMA guys that move into wrestling and push them to the moon. We've seen it with Brock. We've seen it with Ronda Rousey. We're seeing it with Cain Velasquez.
Matt
Riddle. they just love those mixed martial art guys. And for the most part, they've booked them pretty well. And they've made the transition from mixed martial arts to professional wrestling when under the WWE banner. Yep. Even Shayna Baszler. Mm-hmm. There's still time to tell with Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke, but Tom Lawlor, I think, can instantly get put into the mix, possibly in the North American Championship run once he goes to NXT. So I think come Royal Rumble weekend, he will be one of those ones in the front row.
That shows up. Yep.
And shows
Certainly
up.
likely.
So, and I think that's going to be a huge hit for AEW. I think he would have been great in AEW.
Well, he could still go there.
He could.
Saying he's not going to.
No, but I think, if we're saying NXT, that's a huge miss for AEW, I think. But let us know who you guys think from Ring of Honor will move to AEW or one of the other promotions in the comments below. Don't forget to share this all over social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at SCPB Podcast. And for the unbiased conversations in AEW, WWE, NXT, and New Japan Pro Wrestling, subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. Ralph Valenti, my name is Michael Valenti, and thank you for watching the Squared Circle Psychobabble.